Okay, Chairman. This is Garen. We're in the gymnasium. Um, just so you know, on the list here, uh, inside the gym we have Matt May, Erica Dunn, Brandon Stout. We also have on the line Alan Post, Eric Armel, Coley Brown, John Snowball, Louis LaRose, Roland Warner, Teresa Littlegeorge, Victoria Kitchian. Stand by, Chairman. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Yes.
We are live.
Good evening, everybody. We are here at the mid-monthly tribal council meeting scheduled for June 15, 2025 p.m. via GoTo meeting. As a reminder, the regular mid-monthly tribal council meetings are live streamed. I want to say at 4:53 p.m. after I sent the email out to the tribal council, Joseph Little George called me and he granted us permission to continue on with tonight's meeting. Although we was considering postponing. We will call to order at 5:04 p.m. I want to give my condolences to all the families that are going on, that are struggling right now. Condolences and hopes and thoughts for understanding.
I can hear him, but it's over there.
John, would you say opening prayer for us, please?
Aho, choka, mohuna, mo kunjangura, emuno, emuno, choka, help us, guide us, see within our hearts and our minds, and help us make the right decisions, choka, and help all of our people. Choka, bless us, bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, John. We haven't approved the agenda. We have one added item, roads department, maintenance equipment. It's the purchase of a skid loader and asphalt grinder planer. That's added to the agenda. Any other additions?
Chairman, there's some recommendations from the task force that I forwarded that email to the council just now. So I would like to add that.
Okay. Item 2, added items is task force recommendations.
One other item, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
There's a construction tax that we would like to look at and have address that, and then maybe perhaps get that put towards our appropriations.
Okay, that's item 3. Any other additions? No other additions? Can I get a motion to approve this amended agenda, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Thelma, second by Eric. Discussion? Is there any objections? No objections.
Chairman, just a FYI, Mal is on the stream as well. Mal, if you could turn your camera on and then also test your audio. There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Mal, did you hear that motion?
Yes.
Okay. Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. First order of business is reading of the minutes. 5/29/20, Treasurer's Report meeting minutes. Motion to approve? Is there a motion to approve?
Make motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Thelma. Discussion? Any objections? No objections? Motion passed 7-0. Item 2. 6/3/20, regular tribal council meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion by Thelma, second by Tori. Any discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Minutes, item number 3, 6/8/20, special tribal council meeting, eligible voters list meeting minutes. The motion to approve.
Move it.
Second.
Motion by Tori, second by Eric. Discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Number 4, 6/10/20, CEO report meeting minutes. Can I get a
Move it.
Motion by Tori, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Thelma, discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Okay, we're at the ratifications. There were 5 signatures. Item 1, Human Resources, approved guidelines for CARES Act housing and utility assistance.
Move it, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to ratify by Roland,
Second.
second by Eric. Discussion? Any objections? No objection. Object?
Yeah.
Call for the vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Aye.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. John?
Aye.
Okay. No? 1? No abstention. Motion passed 6-1-0. Item 2, one-time emergency grant for RD Corps in the amount of $250 to help assist with the loss of home due to fire. Is there a motion to ratify? Is there a motion to ratify?
Move it.
Second.
Second.
second by Thelma. Any other discussion? Any objections? No objections? Motion passed 7-0. Third ratification is adopt resolution 20-151, travel enrollment application, emergency enrollments.
Move it.
Eric,
Second.
motion by Eric, second by Tori. Discussion? Any objections? Motion passed 7-0. We will go on to our added items. First added item is roads department. Purchase of a skid and asphalt grinder planer.
Just need permission or approval to purchase. They've got 3 bids. One from Caterpillar, one from John Deere, one from Bobcat. And it's to, their existing skid loader is about 15 years old. This is to replace that. And then the asphalt grinder planer will help with getting a better surface for when they do asphalt repairs. And this is paid for through the TTP money.
All of it?
89,000, that's correct.
Okay. You have a recommendation on one of the bids?
The roads department is recommending the John Deere 333G and planer for a total of 89,000. It's 71 for the loader, and it's a track loader, and then 18,000 for the cold planer.
And that's with Murphy Tractor and Equipment Company?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of the skid loader and asphalt grinder planer from Murphy Tractor and Equipment Company for amount of 89,000.
Yes.
Motion by Eric. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Any objections? No objections. Motion passed 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, task force recommendations. Go ahead, John.
Okay, the first one is the Coronavirus Relief Fund Small Business Grant Program. United States government has provided guidance within the CARES Act that governments can provide small business grants. So, and these grants can pay for lost revenue for any shutdowns. So that was the first recommendation, Chairman.
Okay.
I make a motion to pass the Coronavirus Relief Fund Small Business Grant Program as drafted by General Counsel.
Motion by Tori, second. Is there a second? Do we have a second?
We have time to,
I'll second,
that?
Chairman.
There's a motion by Tori. There was a second by John. Discussion.
discussion
Go ahead.
in regards to, small business grant program. Did we have time to review that by our general counsel?
I can speak to that. We went through, our general counsel, and she's the one who drafted the majority of it with input from the pandemic task force.
Is there any more discussion? Is there any objections? No objection. Motion passed 7-0. John, is there another one?
The second recommendation is asking that the tribal council evaluate reopening our other casinos, the Native Star and Iron Horse. So with that, I would leave it up to the council for discussion.
Okay, first of all, I will start. When can they open? Was there a date set today?
I don't believe Nebraska ever shut them down. That was solely our decision.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would have just a little bit of input into that.
Go ahead.
I think with the NIGC rules, they would have to work in conjunction, like Winnebago did with the Gaming Commission, to make sure that they have their plan all laid out for it.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve our class 2 facilities to open up and follow through with the needed cautionary plans to NIGC? And give them to tribal council too.
Chairman, I guess I would make a motion to request reopening guidelines from our CEO of the Gaming Development Corporation. I would like to see guidelines before we make a decision on reopening.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Don made that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rollin. Any discussion?
Discussion?
Go ahead.
Would we be combining the gaming with the main casino then?
Oh, not yet. That's a different discussion. Is there any more discussion? Is there any objection? No objection. No objection. Motion passed. 7-0. We will contact Mr. Chamberlain, the CEO of our class 2 facilities, and request the guidelines to them reopening. Thank you. Is there a third item, John?
Yes, is the third and final item. It's to do with the curfew, the the task force recommends that the council enact a formal resolution to change the time from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and that to also add in there to give the officer discretion. I knew they was running into some issues with the warnings at the court, so it would go smoother. So that's what the task force recommends.
To amend the resolution we made and to change those times. Okay, good. Motion by John,
Yeah, I'll make that motion for general counsel to draft up that resolution with those changes.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion. No discussion. Any objection? No. Yeah,
John, I agree that we should do that, and I'm glad that we do that. Do we have a timeline on that? Do we want to expedite that so that we can enact all this as soon as possible?
Yes, I think so, and then we could utilize 5 signature to get that done.
okay, we'll say ASAP, as soon as possible. No more discussion? Is there any objections? No objections? Motion passed. 7-0-0.
Thank you, Chairman.
Intact. Oh, John, go ahead.
No, I just said thank you.
Thanks, John. Item 3, added item is construction tax.
Mr. Chair, in regards to this construction tax, there was two different polls. We used the first poll, and we made sure that we infused it into the tribe. We made sure that our tribal members had access to that funding through emergency grants or emergency loans through our credit department. We also made sure that there was a portion put towards the food pantry and then our TANF. So those were 3 different levels that we made sure that tribal members had access to that. And we tried to make sure that there was funding available to our tribal members. As a result of the short time that our casino was shut down, we were looking at some shortfalls in our appropriation budgets for 2021. And if we could use this next part of the construction tax towards making us whole on that end of things, it would go a long ways in the operations of our government. So I would ask that this council would entertain that thought. Perhaps we could make a meeting, John, with our tax commission and have them, we can make our recommendations and then we can take that to the vote and bring that back to the table. But I wanted to make everybody aware of that so that we can start trying to address those issues. Thank you.
Okay. Is that a discussion update that you will take that to the tax commission? And you need a motion from the table.
Is it appropriate?
What's
I
that?
would like to make that motion then.
Okay. There's a motion by Roland. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Any objections?
Object.
Call for the vote. All in favor? Raise your right hand, say aye.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4. Roland, Eric, Thelma, and Victoria, yes. Just 4. No. 2, 3. Melton, Lewis, and John. Vote no. 0 abstention. Motion passed 4-3-0.
So, John, can we set up a meeting so that we can make these recommendations to our tax commission? And then we can bring that back to our next TC meeting?
Yes, I can see what all tax commission members are available tomorrow, so we can get that handled right away.
Thank you.
Okay. That is it for our added items. We go on to the last item of the night is old business investigative committee findings, ethical complaints for VK and Mel Frenchman. We're here to schedule hearing dates to hear. On February 3rd, I'll just kind of give a quick briefing. On February 3rd, ethical complaints was submitted by Eric Armel. These complaints were submitted for failure to comply with the Winnebago Tribal Council's drug policy. Tribal Council, how quick do you want to get these into a special meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment. Well, my comment is that, as the council knows and as the membership knows, I've been very vocal about this issue, that I'm against the hair mechanism of hair follicle drug testing. I think that there are other alternatives such as urine analysis, 10-panel urine analysis, mouth swab, blood test. You know, there's all kinds of other mechanisms that I've been very vocal about not wanting to do the hair follicle test. So in October, when we got the email from you to submit to a hair follicle test, I reiterated that I would not be taking a hair follicle test. And I went to Tri-State Nursing and I took a urine analysis test. And months later, this ethical complaint was brought forward by our council peer, Eric Armel. And again, I was making my same points that I was uncomfortable with that and that I just didn't think it was necessary. I think it's invasive. I think it's culturally inappropriate. And it's really bothered me. I think that this table would pass a policy that was just so inconsistent with what we believe as Indian people. And so I never really understood, you know, why this was such an issue for some people. And that I really believe it to be a political tactic. And that at a time when our tribe needs to be and remain its strongest, you know, we find ourselves talking about this again. And so I've had a lot of tribal members and particularly youth ask me about this. And so I also think it's a form of culturally bullying. And but under this issue and under all the thoughts that I've had, that I decided to take this test under cultural protest. I don't agree with it. I think that, you know, those that stand on their platforms, stand in themselves as traditional tribal members, you know, you can't pick and choose when you want to align those things and our beliefs. So, but you know, with all that said and done, you know, those things are embedded in me that I believe that we don't give our hair. I also sought the consult of some of our tribal elders, 2 of them being veterans, one of them being Mr. Boylad and one of them being Ms. Kathy DeCamp. And, you know, they shared with me that, you know, we don't give our hair, and our hair is a part of our spirit. I also consulted with the late Rita Redhorn Hardin, because she was someone that my grandma trusted, and all growing up and even in my young adulthood, they'd always say, ask Rita, she knows. And so when I told Rita about this in February, actually, she said, oh no, we don't do that. And so these aren't just, you know, I'm not making this up. This is what I've been told. And, but nonetheless, you know, it's come to this, that we have this before us this evening. And I just feel like, you know, I'm backed into a corner. So I went and took the test. And I want to tell you that it was a really traumatizing experience for me. I had a man and a woman hovering over me, and they cut my hair, not just once, but 5 to 7 times from different spots throughout my hair. And it was really historically traumatizing to feel that happen to me at the arms of these people, at the arms of this policy. And I felt assaulted. And maybe, you know, for others that was okay to undergo that process, but it was horrible. And I didn't really think that I would be emotionally moved by it, but I could feel the tears running down my face and under my mask. And I don't ever want to do it again. I want to see this table change that policy. What's wrong with the 10-panel urine, you know? And so I just want to share that with you, that I believe this is a moot issue. I've taken this test today. I think that it's a political tactic, and I think it's really unfortunate that that some feel like they need to somehow carry out some type of agenda. But those are just the comments I wanted to share for the benefit of the membership, so that they know that in October I did in fact take a drug test. I took a breathalyzer, both were negative, and I've continued to do what I'm supposed to do. And I just think that this is unnecessary, but you know, we have a process to follow here. So thank you.
Sorry. Any other comments?
Chairman, maybe give like let the membership know what was happening, like where we're at in the process. I guess I could do that. Dusty filed an ethical complaint against Councilwoman Kitchian and Councilman Frenchman for not taking the hair follicle test. And from there, it was the tribal council voted to go through and form an investigative committee. And now that committee came back with their findings. And at that time, the pandemic was just now coming, and it was decided that we was going to set this aside, you know, that we was going to put it all hands on deck. And I seen that it was on the agenda today. So today, the part of the process was that investigative committee was going to give the report, and I see that their report is in our TC packet. So I think it'd be beneficial if our chairman could read that report, and I think we go from there. And I just want to say I was sorry to hear that, Tori, but that you took the test today. You know that I heard that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John. The process was to assign a committee to investigate this. And it was investigated by Susie Taylor, Ethics Committee member, Human Resources Manager, Winnebago Casino Resort. Tina Lewis, Ethics Committee member, Human Resource Manager, Winnebago Tribe in Nebraska. Dated March 16th, 2020, Chairman Brown, pursuant to the principles of ethical and moral conduct and special procedures for the Winnebago Tribal Council, the Special Investigative Committee has concluded its investigation regarding tribal council member Melton Frenchman. The complaint states that Melton Frenchman has not complied with the tribal council mandatory drug and alcohol test policy and procedures for tribal council disciplinary process adopted by resolution 18-138. The committee determines that the charges are sufficient to warrant a formal hearing by the tribal council, should the tribal council vote to hold a hearing. Same date, March 16th, 2020. Chairman Brown, pursuant to the principles, ethics, and moral conduct and special procedures for the Winnebago Tribal Council, the Special Investigative Committee has concluded its investigation regarding Tribal Council member Victoria Kitchian. The complaint states that Victoria Kitchian has not complied with the Tribal Council mandatory drug and alcohol test policy and procedures for Tribal Council disciplinary process adopted by resolution -18138. The committee determines that the charges are sufficient to warrant a formal hearing by the tribal council, should the tribal council vote to hold a hearing. Those are the reports from our ethics committee members. Dated March 16, 2020. And I guess I do want to note that, as I said before, and I understand how people feel about the hair testing. And I do understand that it is part of the Winnebago tribe's policy. We're putting that to our employees too. And it can be changed. Okay, now we will set the hearing dates. If the tribal council votes to have hearings. How much time do we want to give? We want to set meetings?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I would like to recommend probably June 24th, 10 o'clock.
June 24th, Wednesday, June 24th.
Can we do it on Tuesday? Eric, the 23rd? Or even the 25th?
I would agree with the 25th.
Thank you.
Wednesday at 10 a.m. How will these, how will this hearing be held?
Thursday, the 25th. Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I would like proceedings to be live streamed.
okay. We will set the hearing set with our go-to meeting style as we've been doing in our regular meetings. And we'll have Brandon set those up and get them out to everybody. And we will have those meetings starting Thursday, June 25th. at
Does
10
that
a.m.
require a motion, Chairman?
Chairman,
Eric.
Chairman, we need to do it one at a time, and it needs to be a motion and a second and a vote at the table to set these hearings, even if there isn't even going to be a hearing.
Okay. Do you want to put it, Eric, who do you want? With your motion,
I guess, Thursday, 25th at 10 o'clock.
for Tori?
For which one?
That would be for Tori because that works best for her schedule.
There's a motion by Eric. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Is there any objections?
I object.
Object.
Call for the vote. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
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 Roland, Eric, Thelma, and John voted yes. No? Raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
No. Was Victoria, Mountain, and Louis vote no. 0 abstention. Motion passed 4-3-0. The ethics hearing before the council will be Tuesday the 25th at 10 a.m. for Tory. We want to set a date for the hearing for Melton Frenchman.
Thursday, 25th at 11 o'clock.
We don't want to get us out of there.
11 o'clock, 11 p.m.
Pull it out.
Yeah,
Okay, that was a. Eric, is that your motion?
yes.
For a second.
Second. Second.
Motion by Thelma. Discussion. Any objections?
Object.
Call for the vote. All in favor? All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
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 3, 4. That's 4 yes. Roland, Eric, Thelma, and John, yes. No, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Victoria, Melton, and Louis, no. 0 abstentions. Motion passed 4-3-0. Hearing dates are set. That is into the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion by Rollins, second by Thelma. Discussion, any objections?
Chairman, note that Mal Frenchman has left.
Okay. No objections. Is John still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. No objections. Motion passed 6-0-0. Show Melton out at 5:45 p.m. Didn't vote. We are adjourned at 5:47. Thank you. Have a good night.